Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on this day, August 26, 2021, Thursday. I hope FB will continue this video without any disturbance as often it happened in last couple of days. I hope so. Well, most serious issues this talk is quality, safety, health and environment in conjunction with COVID-19 and Delta. While topic of talk being civil field engineering, life, quality AnnexSL, COVID-19, safety, health, environment, engineer's role, designs, construction, methods, contracts, organizations, communication, coordination, why be behind quality of standard, materials and works. I have added life to title because everything is related to life. Whatever these subheads I spoke, all relate to life of individual, every individual. Every individual on earth is directly or indirectly linked to these topics. Certifications I always start with because certification is very important criteria which tells about individual as well as about products. Here I am inclined to talk of individuals because it is ultimately individuals, or you can say human resources, that are most important and whose contribution to material production, products and movement of life, and whose life itself is affected. Life of individual is affected, life of society is affected, and it is because of failure or success of individual's contribution towards work. When I say towards works, which means you can see what this projection says: quality, safety, health and environment, ergonomics. Not easy to just grasp, but to understand. I just made certain changes. Of course, I did no problem, but it says quality, safety, health, environment, and ergonomics. We all are very smart, particularly projected, educated, those who are professionals, those who are very well qualified. For them, life may not be that easy because aspiration of everyone are high. Keep aside aspiration and then think of life. Aspiration is aspiration. It is expectation. It's not claim. One can seek whatever one likes, whatever wishes, whatever kind of lust, but what one deserves is important. Deserves and deservation. We say this guy deserves this. Okay, this guy deserves this. That is achieved part of quality. Because when we say that person desires it, that is different one. That is aspiration. You can desire whatever you wish. But desire is desire. Desire and deserve both are different. When I say about profession, we deserve something to be done qualitatively, quantitatively, and that means you have to work. Everybody has to work. If you don't work, we can't get anything. That's also true. Quality is first part that demands everything. Safety is first part that demands that everything that goes on, every activity this moves in, every activity of work or non-work, every temporary activity, every preparatory activity, every, you can say, permanent activity, whatever activity is done, is conducted, that is, should be underlined, must be safe. Safety absence means it is risk. It is subject of hazard. Means if you don't think of safety, indirectly you can say that you invite hazards. When you maintain safety, you can get rid of hazards to some extent or to maximum extent. When we say hazard means what? Hazards means something that could not be anticipated, that could not be foreseen under existing circumstances where you are going to work, and that happens, and you learn that this can happen because of hazard, this could happen because of hazards, and these hazards we could not understand at that time when we thought of risk. Well, maybe first time you could not understand this, but second time this shall become a criteria point. We have to take into our consideration what hazards could be possible or could be expected unexpectedly. What hazards could be expected unexpectedly, that is basics of hazards. We don't know what shall happen, but it is expected that something adverse may happen, and whatever adverse that situation would be, that's difficult to know. There could be many options, and each option cannot be resolved but must be kept in mind. One should be ready to face that. If this happens, we'll do that, and if that happens, we'll do this. That kind of alternative thinking, alternative opinion, or readiness, you can say, may be conducted. Well, it's all imaginary, but on work it's not imaginary. It's like you sit somewhere, think of something and say it's imaginary, it's hypothetical, skeptical, you're not doing anything, you're saying this would happen and that will happen. First try to do it and see what happens. Okay, that's fine. We have to try. When you think of something, that's also a trial. Some people don't understand this point. It's not necessary either think on site or factory what may happen. You can think at home, you can think somewhere else. Before even starting something, you can think what shall happen, what could happen, because you're an experienced person, you're professional, you're not just a kid, means you everything told. An experienced professional, an expert is all known as expert or professional because one has knowledge. That knowledge should be used for solving every problem. That's basics of education. Education means you have to think, you have to think, you have to think. If you can't think, you are not qualified one, because your mind is not developed, and if mind is not developed means you are not educated, though you have got certificate. That certificate got no meaning if you can't solve problem, or you can entertain yourself because you can entertain yourself to merge into problem and then find solutions. It's very different talk. You can say, when I talk quality, when I talk safety, I don't plan anything, but I will speak someday or not day, because experience, if you have, you don't plan all time something that is in sequence. So whatever is possible, manufacturing, industry, factory, construction world, or whatever else, all are risk prone, all can be unsafe, and all can be risky, and everyone activity is linked to some good work as well as some bad work. Bad work means when there can be adverse impacts related to or associated with that work. It can be called bad work or risky work. and that risk should be covered. How to cover that risk? That's art of science, that's art of engineering, that's art of safety. We are taught, and we can analyze and find solution to that. That's not big issue, because that's not differential equation, or that's not Fourier equation. It's just to think how to best solve it. Quality is a criteria. Quality, you can say, is a property, is a character that should be applied everywhere in life. That's why I say life of everyone must have required quality, or what you think you can do, to what extent possible, that should not be marginalized. That should not be just written, that should not be just spoken, but that should be conducted, that should be done. Speaking is not enough, writing is not enough. Implementation as a part of prosecution, as a part of execution, is very significant point, very significant act. If I can't do that, it's my fault. If you can't do that, it's your fault. Fault in a sense that we are trained like that. Even if there exists no such subjects in education, yet on job you are trained like that. Even if somebody doesn't have training, work shall teach what to do, what not to do. That's also important, but that takes some time. But if you have mind, if you can vision, if you're given some statement, this work can be done this way, then you can identify what safety factors are there which can be impacted upon, and risks to life can come in. That point is very important, and professionals, engineers, these are all expected to be expert to that level. They can understand what's going to happen. It's very important point in professional life. Profession never means only for namesake. It never happens like that. Profession means you have to be responsible. That's what meaning of profession is. Not only for money, finance, you have to be responsible for safety. You have to be responsible for quality. You have to be responsible for all other acts linked to that one. Whatever activity you do, whatever efforts you do, whatever designs you do, and whatever analysis you do, whatever results you find, and whatever solutions you arrive at yourself, those must be audited, those must be scrutinized, those must be, you can say, analyzed properly, and then decision made. I say there is no place in life, there is no place all over the world in life where quality would not come into picture. We have to keep in mind, quality exists, its requirement, quality exists to achieve its requirement, you can say. Otherwise I don't know confusion in English. Quality is a requirement, it's not just assurance, because assurance is no solution. Okay, you can assure that we will fulfill your requirement, I agree with that. But if requirement is not fulfilled, there is no value for assurance. There is no value to assurance. Quality is nothing new. Believe me, it's nothing new. How do you live in your life? What you expect from your life, from your work, from your acts, from everybody's acts, what society expects, what one expects, what friends expect, what others expect, you can say, what interactivity world expects, you can say. That is called quality definition, but it has to be elaborated, because it's upon use of product, use of, you can say, material, to what extent that material can be used, and to what extent you can enrich that use, or basically you can say, you can expect that this product should give me at least this support or this service. Life of everybody is important. Life of every worker is important. Life of engineers, doctors and all, and everyone amounts to be serious one, to be made safe, to be charted out of risks. That is what is required in civilized and educated society. If we can't do that, if we can't understand how to take out, how to extract out, how to escape, how to, what you can say, how to help people come out of some difficult situation, from some risk situation, that's important point that we can say we cover risk here, or we save people, or we save good work, we force them, or they should be themselves hungry and thirsty to get more and more standards in quality. Quality required everywhere, we know that. There is no exemption, there is no exclusion. Yes, a range of quality can be excluded, it can be upgraded or it can be degraded for that work, but it could be graded for some other work. That's also true. Quality required everywhere and in every activity in life. In engineering, in life and engineering, I am linking both, because without life, engineering is meaningless, and without engineering, life is meaningless. Without engineering, life is meaningless, and without life, engineering is meaningless. Because life impacts on engineering, and engineering impacts on life. If you forget engineering, then it will be, you can say, engineering-less life. Life would be there, but it won't be systematic. It won't cover itself on the quality and safety. It will move freely and in whatever direction. It will move to, you can say, unknown areas, which would sometimes give it better shape and sometimes give it risky shape. So life addition is very important when we talk life of everyone, including non-humans. Quality required everywhere and in every activity in life and in engineering. Similarly, safety, health and environment required everywhere during manufacturing and in construction, and also during use of products. During use of products. Use of products means consumption of product or permanent use of that. Whereas ergonomics is a science. Ergonomics is a science that tells everyone about how to use available energies for doing work activities in best possible manner. So that worker is least impacted upon by adverse actions. These requirements are certainly must. No way to respond to no. Ask yourself. No way out and without good quality compliance applications. No way out and without good quality compliance applications, good SHE, safety, health, environment compliance applications. Nothing can move in right directions. SHE is very first consideration on every activity, on every project and on every operation, supported by ergonomics. SHE claims that safety first, that is, you can say, real formula, safety first. It doesn't mean safety is leader, but safety first in action. This first requirement that you should be safe, others should be safe, your preparation should be safe. If safety is conducted, what happens? and if some safety is ignored, what happens? We have to consider both cases. If safety is undertaken, if safety is conducted, operated, what happens? And if safety is ignored, what happens? It means if we do safety work, if you work safely, we can say we understand what is safety, and we can phrase it out as no safety, no pain. No safety, no pain. And if you do not know safety, you can say no safety, no pain. So simple to understand. No safety, no pain, no safety, no pain. In speech, everywhere it is no, 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 no. But spelling is different. One is to know means you know it, you understand this, and other one, you not only understand, you use it. And otherwise, if you don't use it, you shall have certainly pain. Quality has to be complied with. Is to be complied with, has to be complied with defined requirements, written requirements, known requirements, repetitive requirements within ambit of work specifications. That's important point. Every activity, every work, every material, every product is defined to what extent we have to manufacture it or construct it, and to what extent we have to use it. Quality ranges. Quality ranges in elaborations depending on indicative descriptions, and there exists no unlimited scope of quality criteria to be carried out. Quality range in elaborations depending on indicative descriptions, and there exists no unlimited scope of quality criteria to be carried out. No future if no quality. No future. No future if no quality persists and its specified requirements must be met. No future if no quality persists and its specified requirements must be met. Quality is a must. Quality is a must. Remember, no way to say it should be or it is a must. Engineers must realize quality facts, and in particular, civil engineers have to change quality aspect of society, or else quality cannot exist. Quality cannot exist. Systems quality to be devised and achieved. Broken system means broken life linked to broken system. Professionals' individual working capacity quality to be amended from time to time. Additional learning by due teaching and by additional knowledge dissemination to be achieved. Individuals' required attitude quality to be streamlined. Individuals' dedication to work to be applied on actions, work commitment to be made and fulfilled for delivery. All other parameters to deal with work quality requirements. All stages designs being significant, but merely design does not suffice alone if construction and development are not affected to specified marks. Required or defined quality requirement cannot be allowed to be ignored. So, just try to add something here. It's also important that we have to consider what is important for everyone. And it is now we go back to our daily we miss this issue all time, many times about important topic, but we miss due to so many reasons. Now I like to you again, if this helps, just continue. This is course in use and handling of compressed gas cylinders. I'll come back to quality after some time. Let me finish this. The scope of this rewriting is procedure applies to all works involving compressed gas in cylinder or construction sites. Purpose of this written statement is to ensure that those responsible for handling and use of compressed gases in cylinders are familiar with required safety precautions. Compressed gases present a unique hazard, you know that. It's gas after all, chemical. Depending on particular gas, there is a potential for, depending on a particular gas, there's a potential for simultaneous exposure to both mechanical and chemical hazards, and resulting is the gases could be flammable or combustible. Gases could be flammable or combustible, explosive or corrosive, explosive or it could be corrosive or it could be poisonous, it could be inert or a combination of various hazards. If a gas is flammable, flash point, lower than room temperature, compounded by high rate of diffusion, present in present a danger. If gas is flammable, to be put on fire. Flash points lower than room temperature, compounded by high rate of diffusion, presents a danger of fire or explosion. Additional hazards of reactivity and toxicity of gas that was flammable now says it may be reactive or it may be toxic. Uh, or it may be asphyxiation, means it can subject individual to that point. It can be caused by high concentration of even harmless gases such as nitrogen. Since gases are contained in highly pressurized metal containers, large amount of potential energy resulting from compression of gas makes cylinder a potential potential rocket or fragmentation bomb. Careful procedures are necessary for handling various compressed gases, cylinders containing compressed gases, regulators or valves used to control gas flow, and piping used to confine gases during flow. Now certain definitions as usual, and only British has only one point. The British stand of gas cylinders is this identification of gas cylinder and excluding medical cylinder, that's BS 349 1973, and then LPG is liquefied petroleum gas, and that's it. And then we go to responsibilities, which are as usual, not very different. Here is only that site is that for specific responsibility, site safety manager or leader shall ensure that requirements of these procedures are communicated to all levels in organization through education, that's called toolbox talks. Practical education shall lies with maintenance and construction superintendents in identifying work hazards and precautions to pursue. Gas suppliers were practical. Gas suppliers, gas cylinders should be delivered to and dispatched from construction site by gas suppliers for safe transport handling. Then you can say instructions of safe transport handling was that if arranging collection return of gases prescribed as dangerous under road traffic, so driver must be properly instructed for safe handling of cylinders, loading and transport of cylinders, and in dealing safety data sheet must also be carried on with vehicle. and always be put vertical in case of acetylene and LPG, valves remaining shut and not leaking. If carried in closed vans or cars, there must be good ventilation and smoking should be banned. Traveling traveling with equipment attached to cylinders. Traveling with equipment attached to cylinders should be avoided. Valves must be shut and protective valve caps fitted where provided. If quantity of dangerous gas in cylinders weighing 500 kg or more, vehicle used for carrying it must display prescribed reflective orange must display prescribed reflective orange plates to front and rear. Event of in event of road accident, emergency services must be advised as to nature of cylinders being carried by showing relevant transport emergency card and safety data sheet. Cylinders should not be lifted with magnets or chains. Cylinders should not be lifted with magnets or chains. A rope or nylon sling may be used to lift one cylinder at a time, provided it's correctly adjusted to prevent slippage. If more than one cylinder has to be hoisted, a properly designed cradle with chain wire suspension should be used and each cylinder must be secured. Valve cap or guard unless supplier states that they are designed for that purpose. Cylinders should not be rolled along ground as this may damage identification of cylinder and may also cause valve to be damaged or opened. From coming into contact with cylinders of oxygen, their valves or other fittings. High pressure oxygen in contact with oil or grease may explode. Vehicle carrying flammable gas. Vehicle carrying flammable gas should carry at least one suitable fire extinguisher of adequate capacity, that is dry powder, in load compartment and additional suitable extinguisher in cabin. So one is in load compartment and one should be in cabin. Storage of compressed gas cylinders. Storage of compressed gas cylinders. Storage areas should preferably be purpose built. Storage areas should preferably be purpose built. Compounds in open air, fenced to a height approximately 2 meters. Fence should be made of non-combustible material and not inhibit natural ventilation, particularly at low level. The steel mesh is particularly suitable. Cylinders should be protected from hot weather, from direct rays of sun. Tarpaulins or some other cover must not be used in direct contact with cylinders. Tarpaulins or some other covers must not be used in direct contact with cylinders. Cylinders must not be placed on materials which are likely to cause corrosion of cylinder base. If storage in open area is not reasonably practicable, storage in open area is not reasonably practicable, then an adequately ventilated storeroom. The storeroom constructed of fire resisting materials may be used. It must be in a safe position and not near cellars. drains or excavations, drains or excavations where heavy gases could accumulate in event of cylinder leak. Avoid storage near corrosive influences. Avoid storage near corrosive influences such as battery, charging shop. LPG may be stored with acetylene. No sources of ignition are allowed. No sources of ignitions are allowed in stores or storage compounds where compressed flammable gas cylinders are kept. Lighting for stores containing acetylene or other combustible gas cylinders should either be of approved flame-proof type or should be outside stored. For flammable gas stores, electrical switches must be of approved. Stores or storage compounds for flammable gases should have at least two means of exit. Should have two means of exit. Gates or doors should open outwards. Gates or doors should open outwards and be openable from inside. Store here. When locked from outside, means it's locked from outside but should be openable from inside store. Suitable firefighting equipment shall be provided. For small quantities of flammable gases less than 300 kg, a lockable wire cage in open air may be provided. A single gate is then adequate if there is no risk of persons being trapped in enclosure. Full and empty cylinders should be kept apart, and full and empty notices displayed accordingly. Different categories of gas cylinders, toxic, flammable, etc., should be segregated and marked by signs in storage areas. Oxygen and must never be stacked. LPG and acetylene cylinders must never be stacked horizontally in storage or use. Cylinders should normally be stored upright and secured so that it shall not fall. It should never be left free standing. That is, certain LPG cylinders, unless designed to remain stable in such circumstances, but securely lashed to an adjacent structure. Where cylinders contain gases which permit safe storage of cylinders in a horizontal position, where cylinders contain gases which permit safe storage of cylinders in horizontal position, they may be so stacked. Large wedges should then be used at each end of stack. Large cylinders should be placed at bottom of stack, and it should not be more than 4 cylinders high. Of LPG in a vertical cylinder, then amount of LPG in a vertical column of stacks. It is now, let us say, amount of LPG in vertical cylinder in kilograms, it is up to 6 kilograms. kg, non-pelletized is 45 kg. If 15 to 20 kg cylinder, then pelletized is 80 kg and non-pelletized is 50 kg. Where is 20 to 55 kg, pelletized is under 10 and non-pelletized is 55. So you can say almost double, not exactly. Cylinders should be stored well away from stoves. 5-point stove. Cylinders should be stored well away from stoves, boilers, radiators and other heat sources. Whatever heat sources should be away, or cylinders should be away from that. Cylinders should be stored well away from stoves, boilers, radiators and other heat sources. Personnel must not smoke. No smoking. Wear only clothes or have whatever naked light in any whatever place. Where flammable compressed gases are stored or where oxygen is stored. Cylinder valves should be kept in good condition and grit, dust, oil, greases or water should be prevented from entering them. Cylinder's valve should be kept in good condition and grit, dirt, oil, greases or water should be prevented from entering them. Should a cylinder become accidentally damaged, it must be taken out of service, labeled and defective, labeled as defective, labeled defective and supplier notified at once. Storage arrangements